Hey guys, welcome back to Mummy Cooks Homemade, and this is some Christmas get ahead recipes that you can use as gifts or for yourself. So this is slow cooker chocolate fudge, and on this day I did 5 Christmas cakes, and I'm currently puffed out because I'm just chasing the dog around the bedroom. So as usual, the recipes will be underneath. So the recipe that I'm doing here and the recipe I list will either make a large, deep 10-inch cake, or it'll make 2 round 8-inch cakes, Christmas cakes. So I did this recipe 3 times because the size of cakes that I've used is all different. On the list it looks like there's absolutely tons of ingredients. Actually not that many, it's just that it looks like it because of the list. And Christmas cake you can freeze. I am late to the game this year. I've only just made mine. I usually do mine at the end of July. Gives it longer for, I use brandy for the brandy to soak in. You do not have to use brandy. You can plump up your fruits if you soak them overnight in tea. Or you can use a different alcohol. Alcohol will preserve it though. And it will, fruit cake, like wedding cakes and christening cakes, can last for years. So don't get a Christmas cake and think, oh, it's got a date stamped on it. They last for years. Especially ones that are well made, and especially ones with alcohol in them. So I'm just creaming the brown sugar and the butter here. I've never ever made them without the mixer. Never would. Because you'll see in a minute, it's just too full. I won't be able to stir it. So I put all the dry ingredients together in a separate bowl. And you have got to make sure that you do scrape this down multiple times. My mixer, I don't know if it's common with any new mixers because I used the one that I got from my mother-in-law over 20 years ago, but it doesn't catch all the ingredients around the side of the bowl, so it really does have to be scraped down. I don't know what the newer ones are like. So I'm going to add eggs in, and then I'm going to add a bit of flour each time I add the egg. Like I said, I did this whole thing 3 times, but obviously I'm not going to subject you to the same thing 3 times. Just make sure it's incorporated. There, now it's incorporated, stop it and go to the next egg. And just repeat that for each egg. This is supposed to help it, adding the flour is supposed to help it look as though it's not splitting. It doesn't always do that, and there's nothing wrong with that look, it is not split. It comes together when you add all the flour in anyway. So yeah, don't worry about that if it still does it. And once you've got all your ingredients out, this is such an easy recipe, and it's the recipe I've used for over 20 years. It was Steve's nan, and she's in her 90s. She gave me this recipe. Where it's originally from, I have no idea. She gave me this recipe, so this is one I use. She also gave me, I've never ever had a mince pie, by the way, with the pastry as beautiful as his nana's. Has anybody else found that about their nans or their mums? They were just exceptional. Something they made was just exceptional, and you cannot make it yourself, even with the same recipe, or buy it just as good. Well, that's how it is with mince pies. I have no idea how she did that pastry. I've got the recipe and everything, and it never ever ever turns out anything like hers or as good as hers. So I am off to give them a go again this year. But yeah, they never turn out like that, and unfortunately his nan has had to go into a home now because I think she's 94, 95. She's between 94 and 96 anyway. Fit as a fiddle until she slipped a disc in her back. And because she slipped that disc and she's too old, they say, for an operation, so she's had to go into a home. So there's none of them mince pies anymore. The entire family is devastated. But yeah, I'm sure we've all got a story like that. My mum and dad never really baked, so I ain't got stories like that. I hope my kids, when they have kids of their own, if they have kids of their own, tell them how I made all of their birthday cakes and stuff like that. And I hope they at least have a go and make their own kids. It's just nice having them memories to pass down. I think there's a lot of people now that don't really bake. Life is too busy now. It's not because people can't or won't. It's just life is too busy, isn't it? So now the eggs are in and I'm adding all the flour in. So I'm just going to bring this together. These make fabulous Christmas presents. I mean, to be honest, I'd rather have something edible, homemade from someone. It shows that they've took the time and they've really thought about what they want to give me, you know? But that's just me. I'm old-fashioned, what can I say? Well, I'm taking it back a little bit. Yes, I'd like to have something homemade. That's what I like, personally. Or Steve or the in-laws add to my gorilla collection. I've got a thing for gorillas, and I've got big ornaments of them everywhere. And my in-laws have added to it, bless them, a few times. And Steve does on birthdays and Christmas. So apart from that, I like homemade. So the flour's all incorporated. Now I'm doing all of the dried mixed fruit. It's 800 grams for this batch. 100 grams of dried mixed peel. It'll all be listed below, don't worry. 150 of glacé cherries. And I do not chop them. And then it's 100 grams of whatever nuts you like. And I don't specifically stay to the 100 grams, I just put in what I feel like. And what I want to put in. So I keep it low on purpose because once you turn it up, you end up with flying dried fruit everywhere. And my dog stalks me, and you know, most people who've got dogs know if they get hold of these like raisins and stuff and start eating them, then it's a trip to the vets. So I'm very careful when I use these. So here I'm using blanched almonds and some hazelnuts, and I'm not chopping them up either. A lot of recipes say to chop. I don't chop them. And there we go. It really is as simple as that. There's nothing difficult about it. And these are cooked. These are cooked for quite some time. These are cooked for 3 hours at gas mark 3. But you really have to protect the tin that they're in. So I'm just going to put it into this bowl because I'm going to make another batch straight away, which I'm not going to show you because I've just shown you it once. So I've already done that next batch. So line these tins, and also line them on the inside too with parchment paper. Don't always stick. That's why I'm careful when I put the cake into the pan and then push it out to the sides and it holds the paper in place. So I'm putting it there on purpose to make sure it holds this greaseproof. There we go. Don't spend hours trying to hold this greaseproof in place. You can do it just by putting the cake mix in. There. It's in place now. And you can see that it's just so packed full of fruit and nuts. It really is a lovely recipe. And I'd say fill it 3/4 of the way up. And this is just a regular 8-inch springform pan. Doesn't need to be springform. For many years I didn't use a springform pan. Cover the top. This will help it to stop burning. Remember, it's got a lot of sugar in this. And it's in there for 3 hours, even though it's at a low temperature. So I'm going to put some foil around the outside, press it to the tin. You can secure this with string, but I found with the foil I didn't need to. And it was above. It's the size of the tin, higher than the tin, if that makes sense. It stops it burning. So I've got 2 as loaves, and I've got 3 rounds. And they're a good old size. And all but one will be given as gifts. So this is the chocolate fudge. Slow cooker fudge. So I preheated the slow cooker just so it was warm so it can melt the ingredients to start everything off. You want minimum 40% cocoa solids, that's why I was showing you. And it's 500 grams. This does do quite a lot of fudge. You'll see at the end when it's chopped up. And it's literally so easy. A knob of butter, 500 grams of chocolate, a can of condensed milk and some vanilla. That is it. So like I say, I preheated this to help it to melt. And what you're going to do is once everything's melted and stirred well together, you're going to put it on low on the slow cook function for 2 hours. And what you need to do is set a timer for every 15 minutes. This may sound like it's going to be arduous, but trust me, it's not. And every 15 minutes, just come in, give it a stir round, pop the lid back on, and reset another timer. And just do this every 15 minutes until it's finished cooking in the 2 hours. And that is all there is to this fudge. And it's such a great gift. And you don't need to give a lot as a gift because fudge is very sickly. And you can see it doesn't really cost a lot to make this. So I'm just going to stir this until everything is melted. If you don't stir this during this 2-hour process, you are likely to end up with a gritty a gritty slab of fudge, to be perfectly honest. It's not a hardship. It's a, what, 10-second job. Lift the lid, give it a good old stir. So it's still melting down. And you'll see it'll start to, as each time you stir it, it starts to come together more and more and more. Right, 2 hours. Now that it's all melted, mixed. So I am going to do a Halloween video, and this is the last bit, look. You see it all comes together, look. So I am going to do a Halloween cake, which I'll record, and I am going to do some parking and bonfire toffee for November 5th, which is bonfire night. Here in the UK, you'll know all about that. Other countries maybe not so much, but if you look up bonfire night, for all you guys that don't know about it, it's really interesting. So yeah, there will be a couple more videos and a couple more prep videos as well for things that you can make as gifts for Christmas. Budget friendly. As you can see, this is Steve, not me. And there we have it. That was the chocolate fudge. Left it in the fridge overnight and then cut it up. And there it was. It made a lot. Trust me, a few pieces have been nabbed out of this. But it made a lot. So hopefully you guys will give it a try. Let me know if you liked it, if it was easy. And we will see you again in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Share it if you can. And I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.